First up today is somebody, she's a DJ, she's an internet sensation, she's an entrepreneur, and she's here at Red and Yellow to hone those marketing skills. Please welcome Kalo Canterbury.
Thanks, guys. Good morning. My name is Kalo Canterbury, aka K Dollars, as some of you know me. It's a given alias that I was given when I was in university, but I'll touch on that a little bit later. So this morning, I've been given this great opportunity by my wonderful school, its staff and lecturers, to chat to you guys about something that I've been passionate about my entire life. For some of you that know me, you probably think, okay, she's going to talk about fashion, or music, or internet, or film. And yeah, I'll touch on a couple of those things during this talk. But what I'm going to talk to you about has actually added so much more value to my life. It's allowed me to discover so much about myself and align all of my passions. What I'm going to talk to you about this morning is autodidactism. Now, what even is that? I see a couple of you looking at me kind of strange. It's a complex word, very simple meaning. It basically means to teach yourself. So autodidactism is teaching oneself about a subject or subjects in which one has had little to no formal education. Many great people have taken their education into their own hands. Some of these greats include Jimi Hendrix, David Bowie, Frida Kahlo, Peter's boyfriend Elon Musk. I personally love learning by myself and teaching myself new things, and I'm sure a lot of you here today do too. Has anyone here ever taught themselves anything? Swag, brilliant. So when I was a lightie, I loved to read. Not just at school, but in my spare time too. When I was 9, I read Bram Stoker's Dracula, and when I was 10, I don't know where my parents were, but I read all the Godfathers. When I would go to school, they would have prescribed reading for us, and I hated it. As you can imagine, the cat that sat on the mat just wasn't going to cut it for me. This is common amongst a lot of autodidacts, the frustration of having to learn at a set pace in a set manner. I mean, everybody learns differently. Some are more suited to big classroom environments, others prefer small ones, others learn through practical work, etc. So I remember doing my homework one day with my mom, reading one of these prescribed books out loud, and by page 3, I actually burst into tears because I was so frustrated. My mom explained to me there and then that I had to read this book for school, but in my spare time, I could read anything I wanted. She was actually onto something because autodidactism is often complemented by learning in classroom situations and other social settings like here at Red and Yellow. What she suggested that day actually sparked something in me, because once I could read, it enabled my comprehension skills, and that enabled my understanding. What I learned was that if I could read anything I wanted, I could learn anything I wanted. This allowed me to open my mind to other infinite resources that we have in this world to teach ourselves. Little did I know that it would be the skills that I learned outside of the classroom that would add the most value to my life. So all of us make the effort to teach ourselves something regularly, whether it's looking up a word that you don't understand, doing some research on a film you just watched in order to understand it better, or it's as complex as teaching yourself tertiary level concepts because you study through UNISA or other correspondence universities. But what can happen when you apply that to teaching yourself a skill? As mentioned before, every person learns differently, and it's important to quickly understand your own style of learning. In my case, when I was in grade 9, I did a test with my biology teacher, and she wanted us to understand how all of us study best. No surprise, DJ and musician, I learn best through my ears, through auditory stimulation. I have to listen and then I can learn. So in that same year, I taught myself how to play the guitar, quite well I might add. I had a handful of lessons when I was very small, but again, I hated it, learning at that set pace in that set manner. However, when I was 15, I got this interest in music, joined a band, taught myself how to play guitar, and on top of that, taught myself how to play bass and drums too. So, what happened when someone else taught me the instrument as a child was that I couldn't stand it. But picking it up in my own time, in my own way, changed my thinking. It changed my thinking to that of an autodidact. So the internet became my buddy. It was chord charts, online books, YouTube tutorials, all of those things helped. I started performing regularly and teaching my friends how to play in exchange for things like lunch, new clothes, a little bit of money. I even went so far as one year to play Kirsten Bosch summer concerts alongside Sipho Hardsticks, one of the South African music legends. Now, I wasn't just thinking like an autodidact, I was thinking like an entrepreneur. I never met much at the time though because I didn't understand it for what it was. Then Instagram happened. I can't tell you what this platform did for me. I was just purely having fun with the internet, possibly my favorite resource ever. Creating this persona based on the nickname I was given at university, K Dollars. Captions and photographs were outrageous, funny, and just poking fun at people that took themselves way too seriously on the internet. Marketing myself and learning how to command social media this way enabled me to monetize myself through modeling, photographing and styling for certain brands like Vans, Superbalist, Levi's. Getting myself recognized amongst a lot of people and also a lot of publications that I've admired since I was very young, like ID Magazine and Dazed and Confused. Last year, I got the call from 3 of my friends, Anthony, Matt, and Anis, to help start and run Corner Store CPT. That's the whole family right there. I started it with my best friend Luke in terms of the managerial perspective. Luke and I, on our feet, taught ourselves marketing from scratch, taught ourselves how to set up and run a retail store. And now we are South Africa's first streetwear flagship store with international acclaim. We've been participating in Paris and London fashion weeks, and we've even gone so far as to be the first streetwear label on our own country's runways. So Luke is also a fellow autodidact, being my best friend. He also taught himself pattern making and Photoshop earlier in the past year. And now he's the head designer for our in-store label and coaches design students at the Design Academy of Fashion. So I continued that style of learning here at Red and Yellow with the structure really complementing my autodidactism, learning through fun and practical tasks as we go. So now, what is the point of all of this? Why am I telling you this? Through teaching myself, I found out a whole lot about myself, a whole lot about life, and a whole lot about being a business. In this day and age, I discovered that you actually need multiple incomes to be successful, not just one. Ladies and gentlemen, self-education is the future. People have become more and more independent through modern technology, creating new ways and tools with which to trade, learn, and make money. That, and it's quite lekker to have multiple checks coming in from things you actually love to do. Actually love to do. For me, I thought that stopped with modeling, being a brand ambassador, marketing. I thought, okay, that was fun, time to grow up, get a job at an agency, and that's done. But something inside of me kind of said, hell no. That's when I taught myself how to DJ. So this year, I taught myself the skill of becoming a professional disc jockey, which I believe has been the culmination of my musical and marketing self-education efforts. I literally took myself from being an absolute beginner 6 months ago that no one knew about, to carving out a niche musically in Cape Town that no one has really tapped into, making a name for myself in multiple musical scenes, and getting paid a big boy rate on top of it. From not knowing how to cue up a song, to doing mixes for international radio stations and labels like Rinse FM, getting booked for festivals across South Africa like Smoking Dragon in the Drakensberg for New Year's Eve, Cape Town Jazz Fest next year. I'm now going to be the tour DJ for Dope St. Jude, and our first stop is India next year. I'm even going to be part of a documentary for Noisy that is the biggest music blog in the world. They're going to be doing a feature on a couple of Cape Town artists, and I'm one of them. I owe my newfound love and long-term career to teaching myself throughout my entire life. Now, producing is on the cards, and trust me, I'm learning very quickly. I've just been offered a job also with the company I interned with, which is Black Major, the biggest artist management company in South Africa. So I'll be working hands-on with some of South Africa's top acts, like Cybot, Christian Tiger School, Beatenberg, DJ Lag, the list goes on. All I'm saying is, teaching myself has given me more value, more opportunity than I could ever imagine. It's empowered me mentally, financially, and just made me feel great about who I am and where I'm going with my life, which is more than most people my age can say. It's taught me time management, goal setting, self-belief, independence, how to study things I enjoy, and to question everything, which is something that is underpinned here at the Learning at Red and Yellow. Schooling is not the only true route to great education, and self-education, I believe, could very well be a key into unlocking an ambition and entrepreneurial spirit among South Africans, especially young South Africans, everywhere. In the words of Jim Rohn, formal education will make you a living, self-education will make you a fortune. So teach yourself something today, and I promise you, your tomorrows will never be the same. Thank you.